How you doing, everybody?
Good afternoon. It's another lovely sunny day in Maricopa County, Arizona.
Yes. For those of you who are familiar with Arizona, we're enjoying great winter weather.
We pay for it 4 months out of the year, but for the other 8 months, it's snowbird season right now. This is why we get all the Canadians, all the out-of-staters that like to enjoy this beautiful climate we're in.
Yep. And today, my name is Raul Hernandez. If you didn't know me before,
Hi guys, I'm Chris Verdon. I'm a local lender with LendSmart Mortgage.
I'm a realtor with Keller Williams and the Grimaldo Group, and we're here today to chit chat a little bit, capture your attention with the seller's possibilities, right? The seller's things that people want to consider when you want to sell a home, or the things you can do with the equity of homes that is going crazy right now.
That's right.
It's
a lot of people are getting rich. In fact, I did a little bit of research, so I can confidently say some of these facts. The number one investment that makes the middle class wealthy is absolutely real estate. And what we're focusing on is buying low and selling high, buying low and selling high. There's not a single vehicle out there that makes more cash flow for middle class families. The do's and don'ts, preliminary steps, what to do once you get this cash. Maybe we can talk a little bit about tax implications. We'll just have some fun with it. And any questions come up, of course, we're going to iron those out. But again, guys, big money factor. A lot of people are getting rich, not only in Arizona. This has been a very unique bubble and marketplace in the fact that we get all these people from California coming here, a lot of people from Texas, Oregon. I would say half of my purchase transactions are people from out of state, so a lot of relocations. The fact that Arizona is unique, that it has low business taxes. It's a fire at will state, which corporations like, and there's just a lot of Fortune 500s. It's just bringing such good talent for corporations out here, and it's honestly, I hate to say it, but it's starting to build its way to a small Southern California dynamic, both on price, skill sets, just that type of quality of environment.
Awesome. So you guys are in a great place. If you're looking into buying in Arizona, you know who to call. If you are in Arizona and you have a home and you bought it at a great price and you have great equity, and even if you don't, there's still movements, right? Like the pressing matter that a lot of people call me about is saying, hey, I want to upgrade. I want to take advantage of this crazy market, and what do I do, Raul? Like, do I sell? Do I refinance? Do I pull out the money, buy another one? Do I get a HELOC? I don't know, like
they throw everything at you at once. Yeah.
I want to get a little ranch and get some horses, and I'm like, oh yeah. Well, you do got $300,000 in the bank there, basically.
Yeah, you didn't even know it until you talk to your realtor and find out what the value of your house is. And just to give you guys kind of a little bit of the mechanics, if you have a house loan, you got to make sure that person is paid first and foremost, right? If you do sell your house, there are fees for closing costs related to real estate commissions. I'll let Raul touch on that here a little bit more in detail. Escrow fees in Maricopa County average at about, I'd say, $6,000 for sellers, maybe a little bit less. That's related to the notaries, to the insurance policies that escrow and title companies require, the actual settlement services of cutting checks. Sometimes there's very minimum preliminary repairs you have to do to make sure the home will appraise. But again, guys, if you have that capacity in cash, you just look up your address. There's a lot of free tools out there to find out your value. I would say in most cases than not, it clips you less than what you can sell. You want to go ahead and have your preferred realtor run the comparable sales, the comps, to get you a very clear idea. But then you back out what your mortgage balance is, take about 6% for fees, maybe a little bit more if you want to be on the reserve side, 7%. And that number that is left, that margin and flow, that's what you're going to take home in basically cash, right? So since we're on this topic of tax implications, you don't want to sell your house typically unless you have to within a 2-year period. You'll be hit with capital gains. It does all adjust down to your tax bracket, but the average individual is taking a hit of about 20% of that margin that they would normally pocket. You can, if it's your primary residence, you could circumvent tax if you sell a house every 2 years. as a married couple, you can ride up to 500,000. As an individual, it'd be 250,000 in net profit without having to pay taxes. So again, guys, how often do you hear that somebody made 500 grand, didn't pay the IRS a single cent in tax, which is crazy because most people that are in those income brackets are paying close to 35, 40%. So again, guys, this goes back to what I'm saying is there's not a single vehicle that makes the middle class wealthier than real estate. So I'll let you go into a little bit more about the listing side, the fees for listing, kind of the preparation, if you want to cover some of those topics.
All right. So one of the biggest, every time I get in front of a camera, the biggest thing I want to make sure that everybody knows is that if you go and try to sell your house by clicking some buttons online and save yourself some money, you're gonna spend more than with consulting with a professional and weighing out the options. You're gonna click, it's gonna be so easy, and you're gonna feel like you did the greatest thing. But many of my clients have told me right before they pull that trigger of selling their house to those entities that will give them an offer right there on the spot. And we weighed out the pros and cons, and going with us, going with Raul Hernandez and the Grimaldo group, actually saved them 6, 10, 15% compared to those offers. So they have a lot of fees implied. They have a lot of. I'm not here to talk bad about them, but I'm looking out for the best for my clients.
I mean, I think you're being nice. I'll talk bad. What I will tell you is I've had personal referrals of mine. Right, I'm not a licensed real estate agent. So when I do have opportunities or friends and family that are looking for these services, my partnership here with the Grimaldo Group is who I typically send them to. Point blank, I had a girlfriend who was looking to sell her house, and she said, "Hey, I got offers through other aggregators. I don't think we should say their names for marketing reasons, but these .coms that will give you an instant offer, and some of them do it as quickly as 72 hours, right? So if it's going to be that quick and you don't have time to do research, that's kind of the steam that they're building up. They just want you to sign and commit. Well, guess what? She actually ran the comps with a realtor, and he said, hey, I think they clipped you because you live in a central district of downtown Phoenix. We were working sit on this situation. What I will do, and this is a very unique arrangement, not every realtor will offer this, is since you don't have the cash today, what I'll do is I will front you the money to redo your kitchen cabinets. I'll front you the cash to repaint the house. And you know what? It looks like for insulation purposes, you might benefit from some new windows. If we do this based off the fact that your house is getting a very soft facelift, I don't think we spent much more than, I think it was like maybe 11 grand to give this house a facelift. She was able to get an extra $70,000 in her listing price. 70,000. And guess what? People are like, oh, realtors are expensive. Maybe I should use them. Guys, that the 70 grand that was extra made and the commission check that my realtor earned was so small in difference in margin, it made sense. And you wouldn't have known that unless what? You talked to somebody who was actually going to be an advisor, somebody who was going to truly represent you and wasn't there for a big check. So we're not here to talk bad about anybody, but the you, hey, based off what we see right now, this is what we think we are. And if we are going to do a little bit of repair and you're willing to put some elbow grease into it for about 30 days to prep the house, chances are, guys, there's a lot more money on the table that we're leaving.
Boom. And then there's so many people out there that have their own company and they got the capital to also float you on that. Basically, they'll come in, do the work, we'll close that title. Boom. You got yourself way more profit than what you would have gotten if you would have just clicked the button. It seems very, very convenient to not have to do anything to the house and just put it in the market, or like not even put it on the market. That's what they promised, right?
Right.
But at the end,
cash check in 5 days.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it so easy for you that you have nothing but smiles at the end of the day. And then we have your next step. So what are you going to do with that money?
Right. So, 300,000, which is a kind of, let me take a step back. If you bought a house in Maricopa County, let's just say in 2018, the chances are that you made 17 to 20% in equity that year. And then the year after that, another 17% in equity gain. And then the year after that, another 17% in equity gain, right? So let's just say for simple numbers, the average 3-bedroom home back then was selling for about 250 grand, right?
Yeah, or less.
Okay.
Probably.
And that house today is going to be close to 400,000, if not just over 400,000.
Yep.
So if I'm doing my math right, that's about 150 grand profit, right? That's what the average person in our county is experiencing, because the average home is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 2-car garage. So if you're in one of those individuals who's in that opportunity and placement, first and foremost, you pay off your debt, right? Because that debt is interest, it's biting your ankles. Maybe it has your credit scores not in the best shape. And then with the extra cash, personally, I would put that in savings for investments, rainy days, kids' college tuition, whatever you feel is fit, right? And then whatever money is left over that you feel comfortable in terms of budget, put that to your new house purchase. What I typically see is somebody had an FHA loan. They probably didn't get the best rate because it was their first time home buy. So they took a free interest rate or a higher interest rate. And because they didn't put a large down payment, they're usually paying PMI, private mortgage insurance. Most loans, if you do not put 20% down, require that PMI. If you're a veteran, the VA has a very unique opportunity for you where they don't hit you for that. But again, you'd be surprised. A lot of people didn't realize, oh man, with this cash that I get on my next house, and we'll just do the mechanics of the math now. If you're buying another $400,000 house that does have some upgraded amenities, you do the 20% down, you've got 80 grand. And 9 times out of 10, your payment's very comparable or flat. But you got to remember, the big kicker is you're debt free, right? So, keep that in mind, guys. A lot of times people do buy a house. They're not only dealing with that budget, the cost of living. If you've got kids, you know what that's like. And then in addition to all this debt, if you were able to relieve yourself of that debt, get your cash, get yourself into a nicer home, and still have some money in the bank, that's kind of what we're trying to sell to you. The idea of the American dream of what we're seeing day after day with our clients.
Whatever you do, if you're going to go get a new build, or if you're going to go and build your own home, or if you just want to take advantage of this market and sell your house, do not just put that money in the bank.
Make it work.
Yeah. Go and buy another house. Live in that for a little bit. You got to pay that new mortgage, whatever. But yeah, you have a new extra,
let's remind you how you got to this position, because you bought low and you sold high, right? So you're just basically rinsing one hand after another, but you're doing it in a new financial profile with less stress, being debt free, and having some cash in the bank.
Yeah, don't go rent. Don't go rent and wait till your new house is built. Don't go rent, and wait till the market drops again. Do not do that.
Well, I don't know if that'll happen in our county, but in other states, it could.
Exactly. That's another big. But we touched on that a lot. And you guys, anybody that knows me, that's that's what I preach.
Day in, day out.
Don't wait till the market. It's not going to happen. And if it does, it's going to be a long time from now.
I can give you a long phone book of clients that said, "Oh, in 2018, I'll wait. The rates will go down," or "Oh, the values will go down," and guess what? They missed that trade.
It's 2022 right now.
Yeah, it would have been $100,000 richer.
Yeah. Now they have to pay $100,000 to get back in.
That's right.
All right. So now we got sellers that are selling, right?
Right.
Some people just want to do, like, right now, the rates are going up. So if they just want to do something about their current payment, and maybe they want an investment property, they got so much, equity in the bank. What's a HELOC? What can they do with this money? They refi, they pull out some cash. What's going on with all that?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that. If you guys are in a position where you're like, hey, you know what? I like my house. I don't want to necessarily go out of the way to do it, but I do have all this equity and margin that I can tap into. Absolutely. It's the same thing. So it all comes down to making sure you have good terms. So what you first and foremost want to do, take a look at your mortgage statement. Okay. If you call your bank, you scratch your head and say, hey, why did my bank offer me a refinance to begin with? Well, because they know they got you paying PMI. They know they got you on a higher interest rate, and they don't want to lose you to another bank. So of course they're not going to, basically shake phone lines and spark that interest in you. So they're just going to stay silent, right? But what you have to do is look out for your own best interests. Take a look at your mortgage statement. Today, we are in February 2022. As Raul mentioned, rates are on the rise. If you have decent credit and you're doing conventional financing, I would say today par pricing is around 3.75 to 3.875 for us. If you're an FHA, same situation, you're looking at closer to 3.375. So if you do feel that you are at a rate higher than that, reference your mortgage statement. And then as well as if you're paying PMI. Okay, the PMI again, guys, is if you don't put 20% down, you're going to be with that insurance. Now, if you refinance because your house has substantially grown in value, in that process, they're likely going to do an appraisal. And at that point, an opportunity of proving that you have the margin, you can either choose to take some cash out up to the 80% marker, or you could just simply say, I want to honor myself with a lower interest rate and also honor myself with no longer having to pay the PMI. To be very clear, that PMI, I don't want to say it's to protect the banks, but again, it's there for the banks, not you. It doesn't go to your principal. It doesn't go to your interest. It is not tax deductible. You want to get yourself out of this situation as quickly as possible paying that PMI. But, you know, the rates to correlate with you guys, we still have access to rates as low as 2.875. When you hear that the rates are going up, every bank offers you par pricing, which is the free interest rate. So when we say the rates are going up, it means what we're offering you for the free rate is going up because the Fed is charging us more money to borrow their money, right? So if our cost goes up, your cost goes up. So you still have access to these low rates, but now it's time to open up your pocketbook to get them. So again, if you have the margin and you just simply want to refinance, you can still get a lower interest rate. You're just going to have to know that cost will get rolled into your loan. That's the one nice thing about refinances because you do have equity. You're not going to have to open up your pocketbook. And if you do, it's generally just to simply pay for the appraisal. And whatever equity you choose to do, you can pay off debts or bite your ankles month after month. You can get cash in hand to do upgrades if you choose to. We oftentimes see clients that are like, hey, I like my house. I don't know if I'm ready to sell, but I'll go ahead and pull out 75 grand to pay my debts off and buy a new house. Cool. We'll back you on that too. Now you got some passive income through a rental property, right? So that's it, guys. That's the train ride that we're riding with equity.
All right. And just for those who ask me all the time, what's a HELOC? What's the pros and cons?
So there's
financing, cash out, and HELOC.
Yeah. So what we were talking about is making sure you have the best terms, right? So if your first mortgage is not in a good position, first and foremost, refinance that one, right? Get that off your plate. Make sure you're not paying PMI. If you choose to take a second loan, I would advise that you only do it if the terms of your first loan are very good, right? Because if you can avoid having two loans and avoid paying interest to two banks, that would be key. But if it ends up being, hey guys, I got a crazy rate back in 2018, it's a 2.625, I don't want to touch it, and I'm not paying PMI, I get it. Dope. That's where you're up. There's two types, one-dimensional and two-dimensional. What that means is the balance is one way or the balance can go two ways, okay? So we're not talking matrix. I'm not going to hit you with Back to the Future concepts. What it means is if you do get a one-dimensional loan, it's like a mortgage. They will agree to give you a finite amount of financing day one, and that's all that you get. So if you're like, hey, I just want to do solar panels and do landscaping, I think I could pull this off with 50 grand. They're going to write you a one-time second loan for 50 grand. That's it. It's just a second loan on your property. If you do get a true HELOC, this one is basically, it's like think about it like a credit card, right? So it adjusts to prime interest. So whatever the index is, sometimes there is margin, generally there is. And in addition to that, it's usually a 10-year period that they offer you this type of financing. Every now and then they'll ask you for proof of pay stubs or proof of income just to make sure that they're still making a good investment in you. But I think it's the best thing. For me personally, I do have a HELOC for the reason being I could get sick. The industry could take a dive, but I know at any given moment, if I got to tap into emergency 100 grand money, it's there for me, right? So, you know, as an example, after I bought my house, I ended up redoing the roof, and I didn't necessarily want to open up my pocketbook for the 15 grand that it cost. So I got a HELOC and I bought the roof on the HELOC. Well, I paid it off, and you know, if I decide to do landscaping, that HELOC is available for me again, right? So it's really a good safety net. Keep in mind, again, it is interest bearing, but for me, I sleep much better at night knowing rain or shine, my bills are paid. And that's truly, guys, the best way if you can get a HELOC that you should live your quality of life. We all have credit card debt. We all got to live. If you can pay it every month with a HELOC, let's just say as an example, today its rate is 4.5% and your credit cards are 18%, right? It would make sense to me. Go ahead and put everything on your credit card because it's easy. You get the points, you get the miles, whatever benefit you have with that card. But at the end of the month, you use the HELOC. Why? Because this bill's 4% versus my credit card's hitting me for 23%, right? And that's some of the tricks that bankers, financially savvy people, advisors, tax preparers, we all live by this code, but nobody writes a book, nobody teaches you in college, and that's why we're here today.
And I just want to remind you, any steps that you want to take, I mean, that's what I'm here for. That's what Chris is here for. Make our phones ring. Send us a text, a smoke signal.
We're offering free advice. Yeah.
Free advice all the time, 24/7. That's what we do. My phone number is 623-760-3502. You'll be seeing it up there.
Yep.
Check it out. Chris is.
I'm 714-610-6653. Text or call anytime.
Do it. Don't forget. Do it now. I'm on live. Come on.
So something else we should probably mention is if you are thinking about selling and that cash is in the back of your mind, it would be wise to talk to a lender before you sell. The last thing we want to do is get you all excited and pumped up. That's right. I got 150 grand coming to me. I'm going on vacation. I'm quitting my job. Whoa, hold on. First off, 150 grand, it doesn't last as long as you guys would think. And second to that, the last thing you want to do is sell. Turns out, hey, that car loan that I, didn't perform on for 10 months because COVID, I had some hardships. I'm in the serving industry as a waiter. I couldn't work. And now it's biting me in the butt because I don't qualify for the new purchase, right? These things happen, guys. So we'll just talk about kind of some of the minimum basics. Last year, we were still hot and heavy in COVID. A lot of banks were not financing, anything less than 640 FICO. Me being a true mortgage banker, I have over 35 investors that I sell my loans to. I am pleased to announce as of this month, I have investors that are banking as low as 580 FICO again. Woo. So even if your credit is less than perfect with an FHA loan, I can still get you in the door. But again, we want to make sure that your loan will truly approve, iron out the terms, conditions, concerns, so that way you guys have a good experience. If you're doing the conventional loan because you're looking to do another 20% down to avoid the PMI, or you just have good credit, that bracket is a minimum of a 620 FICO. And again, guys, the mechanics of the loan, you can get in as low as 3.5% down, whatever purchase price you're after, and then add $6 grand for the closing cost. And that gives you an idea of what you're kind of walking into.
Yeah. I am sold.
Nice. I didn't even see that side.
So yeah, before you sell your house, always consult with us. Chris and I, free advice. Yes. All day, every day. Give it a shot. We can even brainstorm. There's no, I'm not going to charge you for brainstorming here and there.
Just basically show you what your house value is, how much you can expect to make. And if you guys are interested, we'll go to your home, make sure that it's in good shape for selling. What us banks are looking for to finance is no health or safety issues, that we don't have dry rot on roofs, no signs of termites. That's pretty much the real nuts and bolts. It doesn't have to be cosmetically perfect. We see houses all the time that are aged or, maybe have some dry spots just from weathering of the sun. It's just, surely, is your house worth what the neighborhood is selling for? And if you're open to doing the investment of, painting and doing a facelift because it's worthwhile, we'll be the first ones to let you know. But we are looking out for your pocketbook. So if we can do it right and do it cheap, that's always ideal, right?
Oh, man, this is awesome. I hope you guys have gotten great points, great ideas out of all this. I mean, some people are just stuck. They have no idea that they have possibilities, that they can keep growing. I mean, if you keep growing, your family's wealth, you're constantly proving to yourself that you're getting better. I think you're gonna generally feel better, right?
Learning financial growth.
Strategy. Yeah, all that. I mean, a lot of people just kind of are comfortable with, sticking to their 9 to 5 and not really thinking about the possibilities of investing.
And to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Sometimes we all just need to take a breather and just stay in our lane. But when you have kids and you see that the cost of living is going up, at some point, there's going to be a light bulb that glows up and says, I should maybe get rid of this car loan that's biting my ankles at 17%, because you guys do have the ability to look at your statements and see how much interest you pay year after year. I can't tell you how many clients I have that have been throwing, the minimum payment at their credit card bill month after month, just because they're just going through their motions of just living. And then they're like, whoa, I talked to an advisor and he mentioned to me that I had given them, as an example, $100 a month for the last 12 months. That's $1,200 a year. And I've had this debt for 3 years and the balance actually went up $50. Go figure, right? It happens all the time. You have to be really mindful of this. And that's money that, do you want to give to the banks or do you want to give to your kids, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to. I think maybe we should cover some of the things that you would do at a listing appointment, and also maybe a little bit more of the mechanics of commission splits, maybe some of the strategies we use to make it a very comfortable sell, like a post-possession, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, basically, when we go and do a listing presentation, we're going to let you know who's selling, right, around your block. What's your competition? Who has sold around your block? You can be
You could be one.
You can be one of them to have sold, but we do have to look at all the different pros and cons. And financially, well, yeah, there is a commission. It's determined each time. Every time is different.
Yeah.
But we do basically make sure that we get the best deal for your house and get that money that you're going to pay me from the market. The market is so hot right now that you shouldn't even focus on what I'm going to make. You need to focus on what you're going to make. You tell me.
It's a seller's market.
Yeah,
and to be frank, guys, we're advisors. We will show you what the market is basically performing at. We'll show you the highest and then the lowest, and we'll show you the quality of those homes. And then you yourself as the seller, because it's your property, will dictate, okay, I think this is best practice. So again, we're not here to muscle you or to make a decision for you. We're just here to advise and let you make the final decisions, right?
What else did you say?
Well,
listing presentation.
Yep. Commission splits, and then also some of the strategies that we use. So a lot of people, I had a client last month that was like, I'm getting really nervous, guys. I'm getting all this activity. I put my house on the market, but I just realized that, and this client was elderly, I don't know if I can move out of the property in a week. And we said, whoa, okay. Well, you've got a couple offers in your hand.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk to the person who's highest and best and let them know your concerns, right? And we did. We just had an honest conversation and explained that we had a disabled client who was elderly. And for that reason, we were going to be willing to sell them the house, not change the terms, right? Because we found the highest bidder out there, but specifically that we wanted what is called a post-possession agreement. Okay.
Wow.
So oftentimes
That should be a realtor.
oftentimes you might even get a cash buyer, so even go through a 30-day close of escrow process, where you're going to get paid as quickly as 10, 15 days, guys. But the secret sauce here is that post-possession, where you say, hey, I'm going to agree to sell you my house, but I also need time to shop once I get my money, or I just don't want to be rushed, or maybe the house that I bought, it's a little bit of a fixer-upper, so I want to move in and deal with painters and the fumes. The post-possession can give you up to 60 days to dwell in the property, and oftentimes, in most cases, it's even a cost-free, rent-free experience, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the slam dunk ideal situation that we're giving our clients. We're selling the house. They walked away with a big bag of cash. They made more than they would have just going to a .com platform. And then in addition to that, because we're looking out for their best interest, we got them 60 days rent-free to go shop with this big bag of cash, prepare their credit for better financial profile on purchase. They paid all their debt. And they even have an extra 2 weeks to paint walls and comfortably move in. That's ideal.
That's ideal. I mean, that's not all the time.
Every deal's different. Yeah.
We can't promise rent free. You close, get your money, and then you're not gonna, end up paying a little bit to them. That could be, a negotiation point right there. But that is an option. So you don't have to stress about, oh, you know what, I might need more time and all that. That you're in the driving position right now. Like, sellers have way more advantage right now.
It's a seller's market, to be blunt, but every house is different and quirky. Sometimes we do the home inspection because we're representing the buyer, and we found out, hey, that AC, our guy said it's got maybe 2 years of shelf life, and it's going to cost our client $7,000. Can you do something to work with us? And maybe the first conversation we had, we're not paying any closing costs. Absolutely not. Well, we did our research within our 10-day buyer inspection period, which we're allowed. Come to find out, we need some repairs done. And they said, you know what? What we typically see is, I don't want to deal with the repairs. I don't want to have to deal with contractors, but how about I meet you halfway and I give you $3,500, right? And we'll take it. It's a seller's market. We'll take every dollar we can get, right? But again, every house is different. Every negotiation is different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is awesome. This
Yeah.
is awesome. I think you guys are gonna be inspired to make your next move and call Raul Hernandez.
Yeah.
And Chris Verdon.
So look into your equity. That would be, if I could give anybody here some homework, just do a little research for your own benefit. You know, the aggregators like Zillow, Redfin, they're a good gauge, but they're not ideal. They're there to, spark your interest and have you put your email and phone number because they're after your data. So just keep that in mind, guys. A lot of the times what you're seeing is not factual. But if you do want clarity and you do want precise numbers free of charge, you contact us and we'll get you going.
Yep. And if you're not on my database so far, call me and I'll put you on the database, keep you, we'll monitor your neighborhood, make sure that who's selling what, and just keep tabs on the market. I'll keep you updated. Hey, this new company came in, close to your neighborhood and, they're going to be building this and that or whatever.
Sure.
Your value is about to go up, and then you got a trigger point where you're like, oh, let's do it, Raul.
Yeah. If you live in the West Valley, in particular, as an example, Surprise, they're building a giant, outdoor shopping plaza, and it's bringing a lot of business, a lot of industry. So naturally, that neighborhood is probably going to see an increase of 25 to 30% the first year that outdoor shopping mall is fully developed and running, right?
Oh.
And why? Is because we're bringing jobs, we're bringing industry, and as Arizona was a very young and infancy stage 10, 15 years ago, this town really started to boom early 2000s. So chances are, guys, if you buy in the right neighborhood and it's being developed, in my experience, all these builder homes, we agree day one to buy it for $392. And then by the time they close and I do the final appraisal to prove that it's been completed, we usually see 15, 20 grand in increase of value. So these are real facts. There's tons of opportunity out there. And again, it's all driven by what middle class is after. It's the equity, it's the real estate, buying low and selling high.
Okay. So we've hit a lot of points. I know this is a selling program. Like the topic of the whole is selling.
Listing, selling.
But I do want to point out one little thing.
Let's hear it.
For those of you who have, youngsters at home, like just don't want to move out. And they're 21, they're 18.
What are we? Generation Z or Generation X?
Generation X, Z, Y, whatever.
All the social media kids were that generation.
Don't let their credit go to waste. Don't let their good credit, their jobs that they've been working for 2 years, get them out there. Call me. Let's get them prepared. Call Chris. Let's get them prepared so they can, buy a home.
Sure.
They don't have to move. It's an investment property.
Yeah.
They just have to put a little bit more down, maybe. But
whatever you're here to do, we'll support you. We'll let you know how to make the deal stick.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of strategies. Like, got to take advantage of your opportunities and of this market. And to do that, please stay connected to Chris Verdon and Raul Hernandez. And I think that's pretty much it for today, right?
Yeah, I mean, we covered kind of what it takes and the appraisal side and gave you some advice on the financing side when you're ready to buy, the things you could do with that cash. I'm sure if some of you go to Vegas, you can find 100 other ways to spend that money.
Wait. I almost forgot.
What's that?
So there is things you can do to your house, to make it a little more valuable.
Sure.
So I just want to let you know that, to be continued. Give us a call. I mean, there's like the basic things are the kitchen, the bathrooms, and
we're talking like upgraded materials.
Yeah. So just use your equity in the right, smart way. Give us a call and let's evaluate your situation. But there's things that you can do with that money to make sure that when you are ready to sell, you'll get the top dollar for it.
That's right.
Don't just put it,
Oh yeah, and the example of my one of my girlfriends, that she had a really old and aged kitchen because it's in Central Phoenix, right? Those are older homes. So we ripped those bad boys out, put new windows, put new cabinets. I think we even swapped the bathtubs. And man, we look like a modern house, and we didn't do much more than like $12,000. You'd be surprised how far you can stretch some bucks. And that $12,000 we invested got her an extra $70,000 in the purchase price.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's what we're trying to
Awesome.
explain to you. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's it now. I'm sorry.
And if you have any other questions, you just give us a text or call.
Yep. Thank you guys for listening. This is Raul Hernandez with the Grimaldo Group at Keller Williams.
I'm Chris Verdon.
We'll be back.
Have a good day.
Thank you.